Ryan Garcia says that Gervonta Tank Davis didn't beat him. Man, it's an interesting statement considering we all saw the fight. Saw Ryan Garcia ultimately get stopped. I'm a big Ryan Garcia fan. I'm a big Tank fan. I think both of these guys are tremendous fighters, tremendous for the sport of boxing. And, there's one thing that we can all agree on, the fact that they're both superstars in the sport. That doesn't mean that they have to be the best boxers in the world. That doesn't mean they're the greatest of all time. But these two, Tank and Ryan, are bottom line superstars. And to hear Ryan Garcia talk about the fact that he didn't lose to Tank, and he said it was actually a spiritual victory for him, I would honestly agree with him, because I think that a lot of us doubted Ryan Garcia, going into the fight, and I picked Tank to beat Ryan. And even though, like a lot of us did pick him to beat Ryan, even though we were right, I still don't think that Ryan Garcia's stock decreased. I wouldn't say that. I would say Ryan Garcia's stock stayed the same, or if it didn't increase, I'd honestly say it increased, because he took that fight. I've said it before, but Ryan Garcia took all the risk in that fight, because you don't just go into a fight. He had already, you guys have to remember the circumstances. It's not only the outcome. I think a lot of us take the fight for what it is, but let's also remember the terms. Ryan Garcia had already moved up to 140, but he said that, let's make the fight at 140 with Tank. I want to make that fight happen by any means necessary. So they had a discussion. Ryan Garcia, fought for the 140. He really was insistent on fighting at 140. Why? Because he's a big dude, damn near 6 foot tall, walking around at 65, 70. You don't want to go down to 35. That's 35 pounds to cut, and still feel good. It didn't make sense. So bottom line, Tank's the A side. That's the way the negotiations work, because he said, I'm fighting at 136 or there's no fight. He said that to Ryan Garcia. On top of that, we're going to put a 10-pound rehydration clause. So whatever you weigh before the fight on the weigh-in day, you can't gain more than 10 pounds 24 hours from then. You have to remember that physically making weight is one thing, but after that moment when you hit 136 or under 136, you don't want to think about staying within a 10-pound range, because these fighters rehydrate 15, 20, some guys even 30 pounds, 25 to 30 pounds. And Ryan Garcia had to worry about rehydrating under 10 pounds within 24 hours after the weigh-in, where he was already sweating to make 36 period. And I'm not saying that Ryan Garcia would have won if these weren't conditions. If they had fought at 140, I'd still favor Tank in that fight. I'm just saying I think it would have gone a little bit differently, and we would have seen more punch resistance from Ryan. I think the rib injury, on top of the fact that there's a catch weight. Like, why do you have to put a catch weight? We heard all this talk from Tank, so confident about beating Ryan Garcia. Well, then why put a catch weight? And then he talks about it being smart. Why do you have to be so calculated if you're saying this guy's easy work? And ultimately the fight did look like easy work for Tank, but we're always going to think about real boxing fans, people who aren't casuals, know what that rehydration clause meant. We all know what that catch weight meant. It meant you wanted to take away any advantage that you had from him, and that's a smart play. But ultimately, that means you saw him as a threat. If you don't see a guy as a threat, you're not putting any stipulation on that fight. No rehydration clause, no catch weight. But he did that. Tank and his team did that. That's bottom line. I'm not saying this has anything to do with Tank. It could be his team, recommending all of this. But by them agreeing to that, and Tank not saying, hey, just leave it alone, I want to fight at 40, and if whatever happens, it'll be my responsibility. No, he didn't say that. Ultimately, he took those agreements, which was smart, but also you have to give all the credit in the world to Ryan Garcia for accepting that to make it happen, because ultimately Ryan Garcia is the draw that allowed Tank to make $20 million. Obviously, Ryan made $20 million as well because of fighting Tank, But without Ryan, Tank's not making that money. Well, who's he going to fight to make $20 million? Terrence Crawford? That fight's not going to happen. And I'm not even sure Terrence Crawford is as marketable as Ryan Garcia. I'm not comparing them as fighters. I know Terrence Crawford's a better fighter than Ryan Garcia is, but Ryan's more marketable. He's more relevant. So that matters in the sport of boxing. It's not all about the boxers themselves. You know, maybe his skills aren't, you know, the best. Maybe he did lose to Tank, but he's still in the discussion to fight the champion at 140. Make it make sense. That means Ryan Garcia has something important, and that's the fact that he's a draw, that people come to pay their hard-earned money to see Ryan Garcia fight, and that's valuable in this sport. No matter what you guys say, that's valuable in the sport of boxing. To get people to pay their hard-earned money to come watch you fight, even though you already lost, you're not undefeated. Ryan Garcia is showing people that even with a loss, you can propel your boxing career even further. You know, maybe Ryan Garcia is too green. Maybe he's not ready to fight guys like Tank. Maybe he's not ready to fight guys like Devin Haney. But his mentality forces him to think, I need to find out on my own. I can't live in the what if. That's what a champion is. Ryan Garcia has that championship mentality. It's just the skills. There are more elite fighters than him, but his mentality alone has allowed him to get far. It's allowed him to market himself and get to a point where he gets paid a lot despite not being a champion. He gets paid more than champions. He hasn't accomplished what most champions have. He hasn't beaten a champion, but he makes more than champions. So ultimately, what does that mean? That means he's a star. You know, he's a superstar. He's a sensation, and he's valuable in the sport. You know, people can't take that away from him, no matter what they say. You know, Ryan's got to keep his hands up. I agree. Ryan's got to move his head more. I agree. Ryan's got to work on his feet. He's flat-footed. I agree. But guess what? Ryan Garcia is making millions. We're not making millions, you know, critiquing him. So that's something to be cognizant as boxing fans. I think we need to be appreciative of what Ryan Garcia is doing for the sport of boxing, because in a time of great transition within the sport, Ryan Garcia is still making big fights happen. He could sit back, enjoy his millions of dollars, do a commercial, make millions, do a Nike endorsement, make millions, do a Young LA brand deal promotion commercial and make more money doing that. Just chill. But guess what? He's putting on shows. He's putting on events for the sport of boxing, where we're transitioning into the time of, you know, Amazon Prime. We're transitioning into you know, PBC doing these new big deals, and boxing being on a hold for a bit. But Ryan Garcia is filling that time, and as well as Devin Haney is. He deserves his credit as well. But let's not forget, you know, Ryan Garcia, he's assuming this fight goes down with Devin, he's going to have two huge names on his resume that no other guy has besides Yorkis Gamboa. But in his prime as a young fighter, it's something impressive. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching. I'm excited. April 20th, Barclays Center, Brooklyn, Ryan Garcia versus Devin the Dream Haney. It's going to be a great one. But thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that post notification bell so you guys don't miss a thing. Keep you guys updated with the latest and hottest news in the sport of boxing. But thank you guys for watching once again, and have a great day. Peace. That's going to do it for another NASFIGHT Media video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy, Matt Nabong, with another video. Hope you guys enjoyed it all. Thank you guys for the constant support. Salute to y'all always. It's been your boy.